Hi, let's learn Disney Hocus Pocus the Game, a 2 to 6 player game by Prospero Hall, published by Ravensburger. Work together to play ingredients into the cauldron to ruin the Sanderson sisters' potion. If all 5 ingredients are the same color or type, you stun a witch, and the sun is one step closer to rising. If you stun a witch 3 times, the sun rises, and all players win. The witches are defeated. The goal of the game is to have the sun token reach sunrise. However, if a player must draw an ingredient card, but the card deck is empty, all players lose. To set up, place the cauldron board on the table. Set the 4 trick tokens and Binks nearby. Place the witch board in view of all players, and the sun token on the lowest space of the sunrise track. Set the stun token next to the witch board. Next, take the spell cards and shuffle them together, and place that by the witch board. Next, take the ingredient cards, shuffle them together, then deal out ingredients to each player. For a 4, 5, or 6 player game, deal out 3 ingredients. For a 2 or 3 player game, deal out 4 ingredients to each player. Each player looks at their hand, but keeps it secret from other players. Place the remaining ingredients next to the cauldron board. The player who most recently lit a candle goes first. When in doubt, the oldest player goes first. On your turn, do the following in order. Ask a question, play an ingredient, and draw an ingredient. The purpose of starting a turn by asking a question is to determine who has what color or what type of ingredient. So for example, the current player could ask, "Does anyone have green?" And we would respond, "Yes." Or, "Does anyone have dash of pox?" We would also simply say, "Yes." Next is placing an ingredient. An ingredient must match color, type, or even both. And if you can play something, you must play something. Some ingredients have a Binks the Cat on it, while others have a spell book on it. When you play a card with Binks the Cat on it, take the Binks figure and place it in front of any player, including yourself. A player with a Binks figure may play with their hand revealed to other players. And Binks stays in front of you until another card showing Binks is played, then Binks may move to another player. You are instructed to remove Binks from play, or the round ends. Cards with the spell book help the witches fight back. When you play a card with a spell book on it, you must draw the top card of the spell deck and resolve its effects. And each card shows which witch is casting the spell. So if a witch is stunned, they are unable to cast that spell. But spell cards that show all 3 sisters are still able to be cast by the other 2 sisters. And each time a witch is stunned, the sun token moves up 1 space. It doesn't matter which witch got stunned, and you can stun the same witch more than once. If a spell is to be cast by a witch who has been stunned, that spell misses and the card goes into the discard pile. Do not draw another card and continue play. If you stun a witch by playing a card that has a special effect, you can ignore that special effect. If you ever ran out of spells to draw, take the discard pile, shuffle it, and place that as a new spellbook draw pile and draw from that. If all 5 ingredients are the same color, Sarah is stunned. If all the ingredients match, Mary is stunned. If all the ingredients match and all 5 colors are visible, Winifred is stunned. Also, if you are unable to play a card, the Sanderson sisters cast a spell, and you must discard at least 1 card, but you can discard multiple if you wish. Then draw back up to 4 cards. And finally, after playing a card, draw back up to 4 cards. The game also comes with trick tokens. The tokens can be used once by any player. For daylight savings, after asking who has an ingredient, you may swap one of your own ingredients for that ingredient. You would then play an ingredient into the cauldron as normal. For Circle of Salt, when you draw a spell card, you may discard it and draw another spell to resolve instead. For Billy Butcherson, after asking a question but before playing a card, you may skip playing a card, and you would not draw a card at the end of that turn. For Burning Rain of Death, discard 3 ingredients from your hand and draw 3 ingredients. You must then play one of those ingredients and draw a card as normal. Once a token has been used, flip it over to remind yourself you cannot use it again. At the end of a round, the player whose turn it is draws a card as normal, places the stun token on the witch who is stunned, any ongoing spell effects are immediately ended, move the sun token up 1 space, gather up the ingredients of the cauldron with that of the discard pile, separate the regular cards from those with special effects, and set the regular cards aside. They will not be used for the remainder of the game. Then take the cards with the special effects and shuffle them in to the draw pile, and set that new draw pile back by the cauldron board. Binks gets removed from the player he's on and gets placed back by the board. Each player keeps the ingredients in their hand, and play continues clockwise to the next player to start the next round. If you make it 3 rounds, the sun rises. Congratulations, you won! But if you're required to draw an ingredient card, but there are none, you lose. That is to say, you can keep playing until you have to draw a new card. Thank you for joining me to learn Disney Hocus Pocus the game. Have fun, and I invite you to join me next time as I do a playthrough.